Well, good afternoon, everyone, kings and queens. This is Dr. Jacqueline King, CEO and founder of Black Women Empowered. And as I always say, we bring exciting people to you doing exciting things. And today, of course, will not disappoint you. I have the lovely queen, Miss Shauna L, as she's known, and she's amazing. She is a publicist. I mean, a major publicist, and started at a very young age. Shauna, welcome to the family, because you family now. Once you come on this platform, you are family.
Everybody.
So, Shauna, tell us, how did you get started in this? And it's a very competitive business, isn't it?
It is, but everybody needs PR, so there's room for so many publicists.
So, how did you get started?
Oh, so how I initially got started is it kind of was just my thing. So I was working in the medical field, and I had friends that were business owners. And so, I would say, oh, I found this opportunity, or they're having this event, you should go, or you should call and see if you can be a part of this. And a lot of my friends, and even I would consider myself an introvert, but I am always willing to send an email or make a call or show up somewhere. And so I would do that for them. And they started getting all of these yeses. And they were like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I just sent an email. I just found the right contact and sent an email. And so it started that way, just simply working with a couple of my friends who were business owners. And they started saying I should work for them full time. And I'm like, absolutely not. I was in the health field. So I was making good money, and I was a single mom at the time. So I definitely was not even looking to get into entrepreneurship full time. That was scary. Um, but I started to work with them, and really taking it seriously and strategizing these campaigns, and not just, making a call here and there. And it worked, and they started referring people to me, and it got to the point where, I did my research. Oh, what does a publicist make? And I was like, oh, okay. So it's a lucrative business.
That's right.
And so back then I wasn't even charging real PR fees, but it was still making money, and I started making more than I was making on my full-time and part-time healthcare job combined. And so one year, I remember going back to work after the Christmas break. It was December 29th, and I was sitting there and I was like, why am I here? My kids are still home from the holiday. I should not be in here. And I just quit that day. I was just like, I'm done. I'm going to pursue PR full time. And I've been a full time entrepreneur since December 29th, 2015.
And so it was a faith thing. You really did step out on faith, right? That's important. I recently did a presentation. Actually, I ran it this morning on walking in your purpose, and you indeed are walking in your purpose. And I would say that when you are walking in your purpose, it doesn't appear like it's work. Is that correct?
It feels like work some days, but it is, I will say, the easiest work, just because there's so much passion behind it. So even if I get physically tired, there's always motivation to keep going, because I truly, truly enjoy the win. And any of my clients can attest to this. I'm like excited, texting them like, guess what just happened? Because it's always exciting, and even if it's the 10th time or 20th time or 100th time that I've gotten that platform as a publicist, it's always exciting the first time for that client. And so I get excited all over again.
And I absolutely love the fact that you're doing this. You are um, amazing. So, if anyone doesn't know, Shauna is my publicist. And so, if you have seen me of late everywhere, that's because of her and her great work and her great team. So, how long did it take you to build a team, and how did you determine who should be on your team?
Oh, it took a long time. That is probably the hardest part of business. A lot of times when people will interview me, or people, I'll get interns and they'll say, what's the hardest part? It is building a team, because you have to trust your team. You have to not micromanage, and that's kind of hard for me. I want everybody to work exactly how I work. Um, that was the hardest part. For a little over 2 years, it was just me. And it was me, and I worked like 20 hours plus a day because PR never stops, the media never stops, and I kept getting clients, and I couldn't say no, right? Because I quit my jobs, so so I had to take them, and so I did not have time. And then I sat and I realized the reason I did this, the reason I did this full time was because I had to go to work and my kids were still out for the holidays, but now I'm working more. And so it was kind of a different, freedom than I thought. And I said, I have to bring somebody on because I'm actually spending less time with my kids, even though I'm home. Sometimes I'm not present, right? Because I'm always on my laptop or my phone. And so about a little over 2 years, I got my first employee part time, and she was a writer, and it was just amazing because she could write press releases and pitches and all this.
Nice.
So much off of my plate, and that was the smartest decision ever. And then my second employee actually came by mistake. I didn't even think I needed anyone else. I thought maybe that's enough. Still working a lot, but not 20 hours a day. But someone reached out to me from a college, and they asked, do I take interns? Because there's a communications program, and some young women were looking for internships with publicists and PR firms. Like, I could probably use an intern. And so I started taking interns from local colleges. And just the more work you do, the more referrals. And I was like, okay, just me and my part-time worker and these interns can't take on 15 campaigns. And so I hired a lead PR consultant. That's been amazing. And so I went from a team of one to a team of five.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing, because now you got to worry about medical and insurance and all of that. How did you overcome those challenges? I think that that is what holds a lot of people back from starting their own businesses, because they feel like if you're working for a corporation, you have security, and in some respect, you do. Uh, how is that, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah. Okay, that's number 2 on the list of most difficult things about entrepreneurship. Really having your books in order kind of takes away a lot of that stress. So there's ways you can go and get individual plans, because that's one of the things I feared the most. I was like, okay, I have children, I need health insurance. And then another thing people always worry when you go to like purchase a car or purchase a home, like how do you do that with entrepreneurship? Because everybody who's an entrepreneur, you may make $10,000 one month, and then the next month you might make it in a week, and then the next month you might make 3,000. You know what I mean? So you never really know. But making sure that you pay yourself through a payroll service is going to be important, because you need to show that you make income, and you aren't just, I guess, freelancing as they call it. It's just super important to have your finances in order, and pay your taxes.
I know that's right. And since you brought that up, I know a lot of companies get in trouble because they didn't pay their taxes. How did you come right out of the gate setting that up? Was it hard? And
Out the gate. That's why I'm so passionate about it now. I remember my first letter from the IRS, and I was like, "What? I didn't even make that much. How do I owe them for?" And so you get that letter one time, and you learn to pay them quarterly and just stay on top of it. But yeah, right away it did not. Um, I didn't just have everything organized. So definitely.
did you come from a family of entrepreneurs, or this are you like the first one in your family to actually start a business?
So my grandparents were entrepreneurs, and it's funny because I never really thought of it until I got older. But my mom's parents, who I grew up right next door to my whole life, they full time owned the community candy truck. So I don't know if in your community where you grew up there was like a candy truck, or they full time they had this old bus, and they sold candy to the community and like little,
Mhm.
but that's all they did. And so those would be the first entrepreneurs in my family. But my parents, no, they both worked full time. Every once in a while, my mom is super creative, and so she would do crafts and things like that and sell them on the side. But both of my parents worked full time growing up, and so I guess my grandparents would be kind of my the entrepreneurs in my family.
And I believe it is and I don't know, I'm not sure. I'll say Queen Harvin says, "Thank you, ladies. This is good stuff. Please share the broadcast. We want to make sure that everybody gets it. And if you don't get it, they can watch it on demand. So if you'll share it on your pages, it'll help us reach the masses." Yeah, my father was a an entrepreneur. He had a car dealership. So, but because even though your mother sold stuff on the side, that's still entrepreneur. I've done Mary Kay.
Mhm.
I've done lingerie. I did Legal Shield. I've done just about all the MLMs that you could think of, the Organo Gold. But you know, there are so many ways to make extra money. As a, you don't even have to do it full time. You could, like you do, you can start small and work your way up into it. But there's nothing like the freedom of working for yourself. Would you say that is a true fact?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What are some of the advantages of having that freedom?
For me, it is working around my life, scheduling kind of my life around work. Even though I still work a lot because I love what I do and I love the wins, I'm able to, like, for example, my daughters, they're in high school, they go to homecoming this weekend. So I won't
Mm.
Friday or Saturday, because I want to prep them for homecoming and I don't have to put in a leave slip or ask permission. And that was a big thing when I was still working is I always wanted to go to my kids' field trips. And so it got to the point where I would say, here's my leave slip, but even if you say no, I'm going because it's important to me. And so
Oh, that's right.
I didn't want to be a bad employee, so it was meant for me not to be an employee.
I like that. And are you teaching your girls? They. I know. I'm pretty sure you're going to allow them to be whoever they want to be. I interviewed Matthew Knowles, who is now my business partner, and I remember asking him, did he kind of push Beyonce and Solange into entertainment? And he said no. He said. I let them just do whatever they wanted to do. He said if they had wanted to be doctors, by the time they graduated, their mother and I would have purchased a hospital. He let them just flourish. Are you doing the same thing?
I'm doing the same thing. I actually have twins and they want to be complete opposite kind of careers. So one of them is really into like beauty and hair and makeup and so I just recently through her school paid for her to do cosmetology.
Nice.
And I did tell her though I would hope that this means you're going to own a salon and and not just be behind somebody's chair, but that part will be up to her. And then my oldest twin, she's only older by 1 minute, but my oldest twin wants to be a lawyer,
All right.
keeps the grades for a lawyer, and she does really, really well. And so I try to give her all of these little extra things that I see that'll help her with law. I buy her books and things all the time. But same with her, I tell her, I would hope that you will want to own a law firm, after you finish,
I
law
love it.
internships and things. But I do hope that they end up being entrepreneurs. But if they don't, I'll support them either way.
That's awesome. You're a great mom. So, you know that, of course, probably better than anyone else who is not like in my immediate circle. You are now, but you know the following that we have. Um, and so, what do you? Why do you feel it's so important to empower women? Because that's what you're doing too. You're doing it, just doing it on another platform. Why is it important to you to empower women, especially Black and Brown women?
I feel like women in general, and especially Black and Brown women, we are the backbone of everything. If you ever notice when a woman is not doing well in a partnership, whether it's a relationship or what, everything else crumbles. We're the moms, we're the support system, we're the wives, we're the everything. And so I think when women aren't empowered, everything else fails. I think it's the most important. I mean, men are important too, but I think even they will agree that women are the backbone of everything. Every woman, a strong woman behind it to move.
And in actuality, Because we know it's no secret that Black men really have a hard time, especially here, corporate America. It doesn't matter. They don't get a fair shake. I mean, we don't either, but I think that they're treated even worse in many cases. And I believe that if we are empowered, we can empower our men. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's why, when people say, and actually a lot of people don't even know that we have Black men empowered too. That's on Facebook. It's about 50,000 people, probably mostly women. I don't know, that follow that page, but we do have that as well. So I think that if we can continue or even start to really embrace each other and work together, how much we could accomplish together. No competition, not fear of competition. You got something. And that's really why I asked you to come on here, because I'm proud of you. I'm I have a daughter. I forgot how old you are, but I think my daughter is older than you. And I think it's amazing that you had the courage at such a young age to step out on faith and do that. I mean, everyone's not going to be an entrepreneur. We know this. But if you have that passion and that drive, you have to do it. Because if you don't, you will regret it forever. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think sometimes I just sit and I'm so grateful and I thank God all the time because I think, what if I stayed? I would still be probably in the same position in the medical field. And to think and to look back to what, myself and my firm have been able to do in just, 7 years, it is amazing. The people I've been able to meet, I've worked with celebrities, I've worked with the top, media platforms, just places I never ever thought that I would be able to get to. Now I can just text, somebody who I thought would be so far out of my reach. And it's just by faith and genuine relationship building. And so yeah, sometimes I just sit and think, what if I didn't? What if I didn't believe in myself? What if I didn't trust God? I do not know where I would be.
And I'm glad that you did. And and networking, I'm big on networking. You already know that, because I do the networking on Clubhouse. I think we did. Okay, there you go. And that's where we met. We
Yeah.
met on Clubhouse. And networking is so crucial. I can't emphasize to our followers enough. If you, I posted a quote not too long ago. And it says, if you're not networking, you're not working. You cannot stay in your little bubble and succeed. You just can't. You have to get out. No man is an island or woman is an island. You have to get out and connect with other people. They may have a piece that you don't have, and you may have a piece that they don't have. And together, you can just go to right through to the top. So I encourage everybody, even if you don't have a business, networking is still crucial. It
And
is. And
yeah,
every, go ahead.
you say that if you're not networking, you're not working. That is so true. And there's another saying that I love, and I
Uh-oh.
my apologies in my back.
No, yeah, you're back. What did you say?
You said if you're not networking, you're not working, and I said that is so true. And there's another saying that I love, and I can't remember where I initially saw it, but I say it all the time now, and I say your network is your net worth. And I cannot remember where I saw it, but it
I've
is
seen that.
true.
Mhm.
It's amazing what relationships can do and how they can get you at tables and indoors that you never would think that you can, get to.
Mhm. And so, we're getting back to your career. Who would be, what type of people would really want to use your services? That's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, who would be in the position that they would require a publicist other than me?
Anyone who really has a story to tell. um I represent a lot of
Yeah.
brands, and so it started with beauty brands. That's kind of where it started. I represent quite a few food entrepreneurs, whether it's chefs or people who have food products. I represent doctors and therapists, but the main thing is that they have a story to tell, that they stand out amongst everyone else in their industry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so typically anyone who feels that they want visibility for their brand and they are willing to be transparent and tell their story to the world.
Mm-hmm. Do you represent a lot of ministries or any ministries?
I have off and on, I think in the past since I started, I think maybe 10 total.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're always powerful campaigns. They're always powerful campaigns. I have and that's why I have a lot of the contacts in the faith-based platforms, is because of previous ministries that I've represented. And I'll represent, anyone who I kind of feel passionate about their story, but mainly my clients have been, I would say, 90% Black women and 10% Black men. Well, I'll say 9%. I have 1% of other. It's not that I won't, represent others, but the people who come to me typically by referral have been, really strong women of color in their fields. And it's been amazing to work with women who look like me.
And what about, I know you probably have a lot of people who have written books and, that come to you. Is that correct? Because we have a lot of authors that follow us.
Authors. I've done book launches, book releases. We've done people who have already written their book and they don't feel like it's selling well. And so we kind of, pull their story out and get it out there so that we can, ramp up their book sales. But yeah, quite a few authors.
Do you have discounted services that they could use? I mean, is there, yeah.
So typically, I don't call it a discount, but it is, I guess, a cheaper tier service than retaining. So some of the brands do retain us monthly because they need all of the aspects of public relations, crisis management, and all of these other things. But a lot of times when people come to us, they just need visibility. And so I do offer visibility campaigns where everything would be focused on media placement and brand placement. That way they don't have to worry about paying for a bunch of services that they don't need. Because a lot of people will Google, what does it cost to hire a PR firm? And they'll say, oh, no, I'm not talking to her because it's expensive. But we do offer, for those who can't retain or just don't need to retain, campaigns, short-term campaigns.
Great. You are truly, truly amazing. Before we go, I'd like for you, and I always ask to give information, first of all, on how they can reach you.
Okay. So my website is www.lamoreLifestylePR. That's LAMORE, lifestylepr.com. I'm on Instagram at Lamore Lifestyle PR. Again, that's LAMORE, Lifestyle PR. Um, Facebook, I'm rarely on there, but it's Lamore Lifestyle Public Relations. I'm on LinkedIn as Shauna L or Shauna Lamore, maybe. Can't remember now. I think
Are
it's
we connected on LinkedIn?
yes. We've
Okay.
recently connected on LinkedIn. Um, and so those are the easiest ways to get in touch with me. If you have a question, feel free to email me. You can email info@lamorelifestylepr.com. And we're pretty responsive. So
You're very responsive. I would say she's being modest. And so encouragement for those who maybe want to get into becoming a PR, or they just, want some encouragement for someone who became a PR, or someone who is young and vibrant and bold and beautiful and brazen. What do you have?
I would say go for it. And that seems so cliche, but that is really how this industry works. You have to be fearless. You have to be willing to accept the no. but then don't really accept it. You just pivot until it's a yes. And that's kind of the attitude you have to make sure that you're consistently winning for your clients. The other thing I would say is relationships, relationships, relationships. You've got to build relationships with just the general public, but especially the media. Follow and make sure that you're paying attention to what they're actually writing about. Because I just got a shout out on Facebook the other day from a writer. She writes for Blavity, and she tagged like 4 publicists, and she said, "Shout out to these publicists for making my life easier." But it's because when you can tell what someone writes about, you send them the stories that they write about. You don't want to send, a food story to a fashion blogger, but
Mm.
so, eager, they just are sending it out. But just genuinely getting to know others in the industry and other publicists as well. I network with other publicists all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they say it's a competitive industry and it's a catty industry, but there are so many amazing publicists, and we network. Um, Sorry about that. And we share resources, and we even I send clients to other publicists all the time. If they're not a good fit for my firm, it doesn't hurt me to send somebody else, a client. And so just be genuine and really build relationships and get to know people. And there's just endless possibilities in the PR industry.
And I know that you do that because I follow you on Instagram, and a lot of time I'll look at who you're tagging or who's tagging you, and then I follow them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that as of late. I don't spend a whole lot of time on Instagram, but I said, oh yeah, if Shauna's following them, if they're following her, then I'm connecting with them, or either they connect with me.
Yep.
Some
Mm-hmm.
of you saw that. Some of the people that you have worked with have been following me as of late. I
Yep.
know that. So that is really that's great, and I thank you so much. One of the things that you said was, uh, gosh, I draw a blank because something you said that triggered something I wanted to say with Dr. Knowles. Oh yes. So no, you said don't be intimidated by it. No. One of my quotes for that is no means next opportunity. And I told when I was interviewing Dr. Knowles, I said, I don't if they say no, I just keep going. And I told him that he says, well, that's not how I do things. He is so brilliant. He says, I don't take a no. I'm coming back to another way. I said, well, I don't like rejection, so I'm gonna take that no and move on to the next.
I
But go ahead.
Sometimes I'll send a pitch, and the writer or the editor will say, "Oh, this isn't a good fit at this time," and I will change the angle and send
Uh,
it weeks later, and then my client gets that placement. My client never even knows there was an initial no, because I just make it a yes.
well, that's good, and that really is a good way to be. I'm not there yet, but I want to remind everybody that very soon we will be launching our business network. You see it streaming across the bottom of the page. You need to go on there and sign up to be on the wait list. It's going to be awesome. Dr. Knowles will be doing mentorship himself, and you need to be in on that if you can afford it, because it's not going to be cheap. I'm just going to tell them, put it out there. To get in for a mentor is you're going to cost, but we do have some very affordable plans that you will be able to tap into. Some great things coming. I'm excited about it. BWEbusinessnetwork.com. Go ahead and get on that wait list. Shauna, you are amazing. I thank you for everything that you've done for me. You really are an inspiration. And I always say you can learn from anybody. Age doesn't mean anything. You can, a 15-year-old can teach you stuff if you're open-minded. And so I thank God that we connected on Clubhouse, and we're forever connected. You know that already. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. And let's see, I have a next week I'll be back with no, I'm sorry, Wednesday I'll be back with Dr. David Ajabadi, who is a holistic doctor, and we'll be talking about breast cancer, which everyone knows that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And he has some really good information for Black women, because we are the highest rate of new breast cancer diagnosis. And there are things that we can do to prevent getting it. And even after we have it, there are things that we can do. So tune in. I believe that is Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We'll be back here. Shauna, thank you so much. Love you. And as always, I'll tell everybody I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time, God bless.